All right, bro. What is your name?
Great start.
Super good start.
I'm Brian. I work at New Hope Studio in Lombard, and I've been tattooing a little over a year now. I grew up originally in Schaumburg, shortly moved after the Bartlett, and now I'm currently living in Elmhurst. I would say it mostly stems from tattooers these days.
Gotcha.
You know, a lot of like neo-traditional, illustrative, and realism are kind of the three styles I've gravitated towards. My main art mentor, Beto Munoz, is one that I always look toward. Andre Tattooing's another one that's really been a big influence for me. He's a super dope portrait artist.
Black and gray or color?
Color for the most part. He does these sick lady faces that are like realism and neo-trad.
Yeah.
Dope. But you know, I get inspired every day, man. Just a matter of stumbling across different artists and seeing it. It's on a day-to-day basis for me. I don't really have my top artists I always look to. It's just ever evolving. I think it'd be nice to get more into that neo-illustrative vibe. Through my apprenticeship, I did a lot of realism art, and I think it was a perfect like ground base level for me to understand art and rendering.
Yeah.
And so that smooth kind of look is what I want to probably go for, but we'll see. If anything, I'd like at one point my tattoos to be, I don't want to say taken seriously, but have a sort of elegance to them.
Oh,
sort
cool.
of a sharper edge, a serious look in a way. I love new school. It's super sick looking. It's super fun, exaggerate all that stuff. But when you look at something like just perfectly composed and just almost like a masterpiece, you know, in a sense. Tattoo industry isn't Target. There's artists that can do everything, and I think that's something you should strive for as an artist, but not everyone's capable of doing every style, every image, every tattoo. And so researching, I think, is probably one of the biggest things I can suggest to people when it comes to wanting to get tattooed. Picking the right artist for the right project, I think, is super important. Even if it's not the style, but if it's just the personality type or, you know, the location, whatever's best for you as the client, do that research. Find out what works for you, because that's not only going to make it easier for you as the client, but for the artist as well. If you want to go to a realism artist for a new school piece, they might be capable of doing it, but it's not going to be as dope as going to a proper new school artist. It's just something that I'm not sure people understand fully, which is okay. You shouldn't necessarily expect them to. It's something I'd like to see more. I feel like it's been said for years of just research, research, research.
Yeah.
And it really does pay off when you find that right artist. So I started with New Hope in February of 22. And I wrapped up end of summer. Yeah. So
24 then, you mean?
yeah. 2 years and some change. I got into the industry as a client. I wanted to be tattooed. Like, that was just my goal. Like, as a young kid, I'd grow up watching Ink Master, New York Ink, and that was kind of a definitive moment for me of, oh wow, like tattoos aren't just these sailor simple pieces anymore. They're literally putting masterpieces on skin. Like, that's wild. And from that point, I kind of knew I wanted to be tattooed. I knew I wanted to be heavily tattooed pretty young as well. I started getting tattooed, and then I found my way over to color theory. And I actually went to high school with a guy that apprenticed there.
Cool.
Shout out Key.
Cool.
And he was kind of my introduction to that whole shop, because I was like, I'm gonna get tattooed by you, of course, bro. And then that introduced me to Beto's brother Jimmy, my other mentor, and he started tattooing me. He did some Star Wars pieces on me, and I always knew Beto. I didn't get tattooed by him or really talk with him until I was looking for an apprenticeship, and that is kind of a crazy story in and of itself.
Yeah.
Without giving away, you know, naming too many names that don't want to be included. I had been working at a grocery store at the time, and I was kind of ready to pursue it at this point. And it very much felt like a right place, right time for me, because my best friend's coworker was getting tattooed at the shop, and they found out the apprentice had been let go. And so my friend texts me and says, hey, get down there. That day I ran over with a car full of artwork.
Unreal.
And talked to Beto. And he wasn't looking at the moment. And, you know, he still had Ram, actually, as his apprentice at the time. And so he said, let me look it over, send me the pieces, put you on the right path. And that was kind of like my main introduction with him. And we talked a little bit, and over the next year or so, it was just kind of a pursuit of improving the artwork and sending it. And I think a big part of me getting that apprenticeship was, if you're a Marvel fan, I got all the Infinity Stones on me.
Nice.
And I had a different artist do each one. It was a bunch of people from Color Theory, but Beto was the last one. He did the Reality Stone. And that tattoo session was getting tattooed while being interviewed for a job, pretty much, because he just talked with me a lot about what it entails, all this stuff. It was a great one-on-one time with me and Beto to really know each other and have that client-artist kind of conversation, as well as, you know, I want to do this and I want to show you I'm here to work. So that was like our main introduction or so, but
Nice.
it was great. As far as touching humans with a machine, that took about a year or two, maybe like a year and a half to 2 years.
Nice.
I was practicing on like fake skin and stuff probably a year or so into my apprenticeship. I thought Pound of Flesh was the best one that I used out of all the fake skin I was given.
Yeah.
Beto gave me some thinner ones in the start, and it was tough. It was super tough. I actually did something he's never seen an apprentice do, and cut the skin off completely. I was working on this mandala, and the way it was stenciled, the circle came around the corner, and I lined the corner too hard and sliced off the corner completely. I handed him no longer a rectangular shape of skin, and he's like, "What the did you do?"
That is so funny, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But Pound of Flesh was probably the best for me, just because it was so thick. I didn't feel like I was going too hard. I didn't cut open the skin a lot. It overall felt like the best quality. But I also didn't try a wide variety. It was just whatever I was given, I made it work.
Yeah.
I would say probably. Currently it is. I just feel like there's so much you can do with it, and it's oddly diverse with how simple it is. And that's very intriguing to me.
Yeah.
You know, I think the further I'm getting into this industry, the idea of simplicity continues to sell itself. And I love when someone can take something so simple and make it look so complex, you know?
Yeah.
And I think Neotrad does a great job at that. I do like illustrative a lot too. And I like realism. Realism's super cool, impressive, all that fun stuff. Like there's some artists out there that just recreate, you know, portraits like a photograph on people. And I think that's insane. I just find it can at times be limiting creatively. And so that's something that I lean more in with the illustrative and Neotrad styles.
Yeah.
5 days a week, 12 to 9 every day except Thursdays and Sundays. That's been the vibe.
Nice.
I know typically at some point I'll probably go down to 4 days whenever that, but I don't mind it. I don't mind the 5 days. I like being at the shop, and it's just kind of my routine right now. I'm very used to it. It's, you know, we're going on almost 3 years being there, so something I'm just very used to. It all depends on the week, you know. I mean, there's been weeks where I really don't have any free time, and it's just very much drawing for appointments the whole week and getting stuff done in your normal life, that it's not much room for downtime. And there's a part of me that doesn't mind that, because then you're staying productive and you're just overall staying busy, and I feel like that helps you operate as a human. And hard to put a number on it, especially with, you know, it's a little slower right now, so I had some more free time, but I do my best to try and stay disciplined with, even if I don't have to draw for appointments, let's draw Flash, let's make an art piece, let's keep it going, you know. I just saw something today that was like momentum builds discipline or something like that, and it was like, yeah, true that, absolutely. Like just staying consistent with creating, because it's easy. I feel like it's easy to fall out of the habit of drawing and just be like, fuck it, dude, I'm gonna go sit and play video games for 12 hours, and it's easy to do. And sometimes you should do that.
Yeah.
But trying to stay in that work mindset is something I've definitely tried to adjust to especially getting into this job. Come to realize is everyone's their own person, artist, their way of doing stuff. And so that inspiration really comes from seeing them put the work in and seeing like, oh, well, so-and-so is working on this. Like that, I want to work on this too. Like, oh, you want to draw this week too? Cool, I'm going to draw this week as well. And like just coming together, inspiring each other, stuff like that. I think there is a level of independence you gain after you kind of complete your apprenticeship, and then that's more They let you off the chain a little bit. And it's more up to your discretion to how much work you want to put into this career.
Yeah.
Anywhere between 1 to 8 drawings a week. It was all a different subject matter. I would just be assigned the subject, how many he wanted me to do, and then how big or what. Typically it was 2 sheets, 4 drawings on each sheet. I did realism artwork only for 8 months, 9 months of my apprenticeship. So I was limited, no color, black and gray only, which in retrospect was sick because I only needed the however many markers I needed, and that was
dude,
great.
right,
So
super nice, dude.
that was cool. But yeah, it was definitely very time consuming learning realism. I had zero grasp on it when I first started.
Yeah.
And it was something I'd seen and had tried in, your art classes and school and stuff, but I'd never sat down to try and draw realism. It's so funny. I should have brought it up. It's funny, but the first set of roses I drew, he wanted me, he's like, let's see how your realism is.
Yeah.
Dog, dude, absolute trash. Like, literally didn't understand the concept of not having an outline, like drawing an outline on a picture. And so they were like outline with like, and he's like, what the hell? And it was like the second or third week of roses where he's like, make a stencil.
Yeah.
Lightly draw it in pencil and then just color it in with marker. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, and from that point on, I kind of started to get it. And
Yeah.
I got pretty good at it. There's some pieces I'm really proud of that are realistic. I've since not stayed up with the practice as much. So,
Sure.
But that knowledge has kind of been ingrained in me of the approach to realism, which I think is a beautiful, beautiful, I was saying earlier, like ground base level to understanding art.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the homework was definitely time consuming. It was one of the most grueling parts of the apprenticeship, and at the same time, you're making art, so like that's the fun part about it too.
Right.
I mean, it'd be nights or you off for the week, and here you are, 7 a.m, still drawing because shit's due that day. Yeah. I know other guys that didn't have like any sort of an apprenticeship, but they still got hired at a shop and just went straight to tattooing. So
yeah.
It's like, it's different for everyone. I'm glad I got this apprenticeship.
Yeah.
I lucked out.
It sounds phenomenal. Your apprenticeship sounds really nice.
Yeah. What's cool too is Beto has taught so many artists in our collective, and when I say collective, I mean New Hope, Color Theory, and actually West Branch as well, of like just this conglomerate of artists we all associate with.
So cool.
And he has taught a majority of the ones in this collective.
I didn't know you had a third shop though. I thought there was only the
So
two.
not necessarily third shop. It's just more so people that worked at Color Theory. And
I see. Oh, for
so
sure.
It's like people we're friendly with. And
Now,
stuff
yeah,
like
now,
that.
yeah, I see.
We've
I see how it
expanded,
goes.
so I kind of lump them in the same collective as us.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's cool too. I'm the most recent apprentice, from Beto, and very well could be the last. We don't know.
Right.
It's interesting to talk to the people who had like the first apprenticeship from him, and now this refined process he's had over the years, given to me. And it's very cool to see, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how that evolves.
Hell yeah, and it seems like you've grown like tremendously ever since I met you, bro. You've just been like straight up. And every time you post a new tattoo, I'm like, how did you learn how to do that shit, dude? Because like last week I didn't see that, and now all of a sudden he's doing this. All your tattoos are so banging now, bro. It's so cool.
Thank you. It's super surreal. It's surreal. It's absolutely the definition of living a dream. Without a doubt, it's not even something I knew I was going to do. And it just showed itself to me in a way that pushed me to be like, yeah, you can do this and pursue it, My mom told me when I was young, or at one point, so I struggled for a lot, bro, like to know what I was going to do. I had no idea. For a while, I wanted to be a musician and like didn't pursue that very well. So it was just kind of like whatever. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I struggled with it for a long time. And my mom sat me down one day and was just like, I don't think you're meant for a normal 9-to-5. And that was something that really resonated in me. I was like, oh, maybe I'm not. Like, okay, if I'm not, then what? Like, musician? Like, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds cool, man. And barely practiced and did anything to pursue it, so whatever. And then art was something that was always part of my life. Surprising enough that it just evolved itself into a way to be like, no, you can do this as a job. And I think the industry for tattooing has increased so much that it has become so accessible and yet still not easy to access.
Oh, yeah.
That it was enough for me to be like, yeah, like, do it. Take the leap. It was definitely a leap of faith sort of moment, even though it took a year or so to even get any momentum with it. It was just a matter of drawing for me, and that kind of guided me to this opportunity to be a tattooer. So that was super sick, and I'm super grateful to be around these artists every day and just overall live a sick life. I worked at a grocery store for a couple years, and that was chill. You know, I met some good people there that I still talk to this day, but it was very much a get this job because I want to get out of my previous job, which was a movie theater. Nice. And first job, absolutely loved it. Yeah. I have people that I am still extremely good friends with to this day, and I love people across the board. That first year and a half to 2 years at the theater was phenomenal. I mean, free movies and free discounted shit, and just overall great experience. And it was overall like my age demographic, so it was just all younger kids at the time, and we were all just booling. It was some people from my high school too, so like it was great. One of my good friends got hired there at one point. We were like homies way before he got, so I was like, I kind of got on the job a little bit, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna be working with my boy Matt. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And it was great, but I became a manager, and then like management kind of went downhill, and it just overall I was ready to be done and move on. Yeah. That's when I got the grocery store gig, and I worked there for a little bit, and it was fine. But it was very much like a job, a job for being a job. Yeah. And I got it. My brother works there now, and he's doing great. He's working his way up the ladder right now. He's about to be he's climbing to be like run a store. So like that's super cool, dope. But it was just something I knew I couldn't keep doing, and found my way out of it. And I actually still worked there for a little bit after starting my apprenticeship. So I had no days off for about, it was only like 3 months maybe. So just because I was nervous, I'm like, oh, I don't know how much money I'm making. I'm like, let's just try and stack the bread as much as possible. But then I was kind of like, oh, you're gonna be fine. Yeah. Like, you know, quit this job and then let's full time at the shop and let's run it. So the apprenticeship, you don't get paid, which I agree with. I don't think you should be paid for an apprenticeship. But thankfully, this shop pierces as well. So they taught me how to pierce, and I became the piercer as I was learning to tattoo. And that was great. I still pierce to this day, and I enjoy it. Like, it's something that, especially in these slower times, like it's super helpful. Yeah. And I enjoy piercing. Not as much as tattooing, but it's just body mods in general are fun and intriguing to me, and just that client interaction can be super fun and enjoyable at times. So it's great, and it's easy enough, so it's fun.
Fairly quick, too.
Fairly quick, absolutely. And doing your best to be hospitable and empathetic of people that are nervous and stuff can be enjoyable.
Does it make a weird feel, like, when you through? Because, like, that's, like, the one thing that always...
Sometimes, man, like, I'm used to it now. Yeah. And I have my, like, methods of kind of mitigating that weird feeling, but... Yeah, there's definitely times, like when I did dermals the first couple times, that was trippy. Yeah. Dude, it's a very
like the hole punch or whatever?
Yeah, dude, very invasive process of just taking a chunk out of a person and then like forcing that jewelry in there. And then of course, once it's in there, I always pull up on the skin to like make sure that sucker ain't gonna pop out. And that's always trippy, just seeing their face like pull, and I'm like, yeah, that's wild. Yeah. But some nasty stuff too. You definitely deal with, I feel like, more nasty stuff with piercing than tattooing. Like in terms of just poor hygiene and stuff, like changing out some jewelry, and there's a lot of buildup. Like that's pretty gross. You know, I thankfully I haven't vomited or anything like that, but I've definitely got a little nauseous dealing with some nasty, unpleasant smells and buildup. This one's like a fun story. Okay. All right, but cool. This guy came in, nice chill dude, and off the rip got 5 or 6 piercings. Never had any. Damn. It was just like, I want this, 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 and this. And I was like, okay. Like, some people say, like, don't get more than X amount of piercings in a day. My opinion is, like, as long as you're okay, like, I'm happy to do as many as you want. I mean, if you wanted, like, all the piercings on the board, I might be like, let's do half of those.
Yeah, let's see how you feel first. Yeah.
But Did great. Like got like lobes. It was like lobes, nose, cartilage, and an eyebrow or something. And did fine. Like was fine. Laughed through the pain though the whole time, which was a little unnerving. Like just yeah, like kind of hysterically laughing, and I was like, oh wow, interesting. Came back literally like a week or two later to get 5, 6 more, and just bam, 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 did it all totally fine. He was trying to get a bunch of piercings before he went into, I don't want to say it was basic training, but it was something maybe military-esque, and getting them all so he could keep them like during the training and stuff before he left. And I was like, all right, like run it, dude. I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
But that was definitely one of the best. That's to this day still the most piercings I've done in one person, like in that small amount of time.
That's a lot, dude.
You get people that just trauma dump on you from here and there, and like that's definitely a bit of an adjustment period for me. Of just like, oh, like you're just, and I get it because I've been a client in the chair for hours and days maybe at this point, and you do get comfortable and you just start talking. Now, typically these days, everyone I'm getting tattooed by, I'm kind of friendly with or homies with, so like that's a different level of comfortability, but. You know, you're sitting next to them for hours while they're drilling you. Like, you're gonna maybe say some off-color shit, like, or just something that you wouldn't necessarily admit to a person you're sitting down with for lunch.
Right.
So, like, I empathize with that and I understand.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to be empathetic at times if I'm tattooing and focusing and they're telling me about how, like, their house burned down or, like, they just got into a car crash or their life sucks. And I'm just like... And they're broke and they're here getting tattooed. I'm like, oh man, like, should I be tattooing you right now?
Right.
Like, all that kind of stuff. You just gotta do your best to adjust to and be a human towards those people. So this was early on, and I was just piercing still. And this girl came in to get her nipples done. It was whatever. And the way our piercing station's set up is we have the station, the craftsman, and then like a privacy curtain for more intimate areas. The piercing, she's fine. And that's a tough one to get done, man. That's a rough one. And she was totally chilling. Absolutely fine. She seemed a little off or whatever. Like, you know. But cool. Go over the aftercare. She's all good. Gets dressed. We're chilling. I go to walk over to pull the privacy curtain back. And I, like, turn around. She's halfway to the floor. About to, like, passed out. She fell in a manner that she... banged her head on our craftsman, like right on the corner. Cut her head open, blood all over the floor. I rush over to like pick her up. Jimmy hears me and he's like, "Did she fall?" And he was like, "Yeah."
Just a big thunk in the...
Yeah, dude.
Oh my
Gnarly
God, dude.
sound. He runs over. He helps me get her up. We get her we're holding pressure on the wound, all this stuff. She comes to and she's like, "What happened?" Da, da, da. And we're like, "You fell?" Like, "Oh my God, you're all right?" And she's like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have smoked. I shouldn't have smoked." And I'm like, "What?" Like, okay, so she's high or whatever she's on. And we sit there for a good 10, 15. And I'm just holding like a gauze type thing to her head to try and get it. Gnarly scar, like a cut right here. Cut her ear a little bit. Just brutal, man. Poor girl. And definitely needed stitches.
Yeah.
So, like... we didn't want her driving herself, so we're like, hey, like we can take you to the hospital, we can call you Uber, whatever it is, but you're gonna need to go, like you get this stuff. And she's like, no, I'm fine. And we're just like, like I don't think it's a good idea, like, and she's like, no, like I'll be fine, like it's all good, let me just pay and get out of here, whatever. And we're like, if you leave, like we can't help you at all, like we don't have. And she's like, whatever, no worries. And I was like, okay. And yeah, she left and never seen her again. Hopefully she's all right.
Yeah.
But that was so early on. That was one of those moments that like shook me to my core. I was just like, what the like you can't help but feel responsible.
Right.
You're in that moment,
That's my person I'm taking care of right now.
Yeah, and they're out here getting hurt. Like, that sucks. Jimmy came back there, reassured the hell out of me. It was just like, it wasn't your fault, da-da-da, and there's nothing you could have done differently. Sometimes it happens. I've seen it where we're checking out and the person's paying for the piercing, and they start getting lightheaded. I'm like, this is 10, 15 minutes after the whole process is done. It's weird how
it's like
how
the shock or adrenaline goes away, maybe. Yeah, like,
and like thankfully we have a couch right there, so like, and I'll look for it too. You know, last caller start to sweat. Hey, you feeling okay? Like, I'm feeling a little dizzy. I'm like, couch right there now. Like, you know, don't just lay down. Who gives a fuck if your shoes are on the couch?
Right.
Like, dude, get comfortable, dude. I'll be right back. Here's some water. Sniff a little alcohol, like and you'll be fine. But that was a gnarly one, man. And from that point onward, like, I completely changed my setup. Like, they stay in that chair until I tell them to get up. They can't. You motherfuckers are all excited and shit. I'm gonna get going. Like, nope. I'm going in the back, throwing these tools away, cleaning everything down. Like, we've already talked about the spiel, and then I'll just sit there and be like, you feeling good? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, try standing. I'm just ego on them now. Like, I don't want to mess with that shit. And as you shouldn't. Like, you gotta watch out for your people when you're doing the procedures.
Yeah, man, it's a painful thing, dude.
Yeah. 100%.
You know?
I got my head getting tattooed.
Yeah, me too.
You just can be aware of it.
Me too.
Just being sick as hell, dude. No, it's hard. There's so many fun parts about this job. I think it's hard to name just one, but I would say a huge one for me is being able to live through my career like as a truer version of myself. You still do your best to be like, you know, put on the customer service when it's needed. And my voice definitely goes up a couple octaves when I do. But at the same point, when you're in the chair with me, for the most part, if we're chill and everything's cool, like, you're getting me, which is really refreshing, because that's not always something I was able to do with my previous jobs. More so the movie theater I could get away with it, but Jewel, not as much. And that's just something that's kind of surreal to be able to, like, wow, I can do whatever I want. Like, I can say, fucking yeah, man. Like, you know, we could talk about crazy stories, and I've heard some crazy stories from people, and they share, and then I share, and it's just like hanging out with people every day, and especially if they're cool, like, it's so fulfilling, like, to give people artwork. And I would say that's one of the best parts. You definitely deal with that, but I think I've worked on just not thinking about that aspect.
Like, you know what the happiest animal on earth is? It's a goldfish. It's got a 10-second memory.
Like, I think it's the best route. I mean, not totally doing away with it, but not allowing it to get to you, because I feel like that's going to be detrimental to your process. Like, if you allow yourself to really understand that you are marking this person forever, and then if you mess up, they might feel ruined for the rest of your life, that's a lot of stress to put on yourself for no reason. Like, so it really is. It's something that you just kind of, you don't think about, or that I try not to. Like, even when I'm in the process of tattooing, I'm not necessarily thinking about it. It's very much like, I have the design, I know what I'm doing, let's see what happens.
Right.
Like, I have, thankfully, a decent amount of knowledge on how to do it, but I'm still learning every day. Like, I'm still trying to remind myself I'm super young into this. So it's like, I have so much more to learn, and even when I get to that point, I want to continue to learn. It's something that I just don't ever want to accept I'm a master at, and I don't think I ever will be. And I'm glad that's not ever going to be the case. Like, you just get in there and get out and do the best that you can, you know? That's the mentality I have every tattoo. Or even trying to just do better than the last one. Whether if it's a tattoo this big or a tattoo this big, come in and try to make it the best tattoo you've ever done yet. You know?
Every time.
I feel like I'm so young into the game still that I don't really have a whole lot of insight on that as much. I'm still green under the gills. So I love all of it. But if I had to say something, probably like the feeling of being overwhelmed sometimes can get a little frustrating, and just like, the stress, allowing the stress to get to you. It's more of a personal thing, but that would probably be my answer right now, because there's just so much positive that I've experienced. I haven't had anything too crazy or negative. I mean, clients can be difficult sometimes, and like, if you're in a bad mindset, that's really shitty to deal with. But like, that's, again, it falls on you to like overcome that, and I feel like I can still turn that positively of like, all right, that's just an experience, and then the next person that, you know, deals with you like that is difficult like that, it's gonna be easier to overcome.
Because you got it under your belt, you did it already.
I mean, I guess I could also say just like the time commitment of it all. Like it's something I accept with this career, but like knowing that this job doesn't end when you leave the shop.
Yeah.
It can be, a little bit much at times, but it's the trade-off of having this amazing career. So
Sure. Here, I'll let you unwrap it.
all right.
I know it's all fancy.
So
fancy
should we tell the people
Yeah, let's
what
tell
we
the people.
did?
So we decided that we were going to trade art, and we were going to do like an original for an original trade.
Yeah.
So we decided this like 6 months ago, and then we were like, yeah, let's do it. And then
Been in the making for a while.
and then we both started it, and then like didn't do it for like 5 months. And
Hey,
then
you
like,
want to do this thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't talk to you for 3 months.
no, and then all of a sudden we're like, hey, should we lock in and do this? We locked in,
Yeah.
finished it.
Yeah.
So this is us finally trading it.
Perfect,
It's the
dude.
initial reaction of
All right,
everything.
let's see what we got here. Oh, dude, that's super sick.
Hell yeah!
Oh
that
my
was
god,
so fun to do.
Yeah, bro, that's tight as. Oh, I love it.
Awesome.
That's so cool. That's so fun.
Dude, I've been wanting to post it so bad, and I'm like, this hasn't even seen it yet. Like,
Yeah. Oh, I love it, bro. Absolutely love it. What'd you do? What did you use? Watercolor?
So it's watercolor for the background, acrylic for the letters, and then alcohol marker for everything else.
Oh, dude, you killed it.
Thank you, sir.
That's super cool.
It was so fun, bro.
Is there the loyal? What is that?
Loyal to the coil, baby.
Fair play.
And that's a
okay,
Mickey
cool.
Sharp, too.
Just
I don't
wanna
know
make
if you
sure.
know much about coil machines, but that's like the
Yeah.
top dog machine that you
Dude,
can get. So
Fantastic.
I can't give you a real Mickey Sharp, but I can give you a Mickey
No,
Sharp.
yeah, I appreciate it, bro. Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah,
love
dude.
That
Oh, that
shit.
was horrible.
Yeah,
Let's do that
whatever.
again.
Cut that.
Yeah, let's get the second one. Yeah, dude, that
Sick,
was so
bro.
fun to make, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Where's the
Yeah.
compressor? Show
Pop it
the
over to the
camera.
camera.
Look at that
Should
shit,
be all right.
dude. Hell yeah.
If not, I'll pop it up on screen too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right.
Dude, that's
Grand reveal. Holy, dude, what?
he said ocular, right?
Bro, this is my favorite piece of art in the house. This is crazy.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god, dog, that is so cool. Holy.
Thanks, man.
Dude.
Dude,
Killed that,
thank
my
you,
guy.
bro.
Holy.
That was worth it. Super fucking fun, man.
That is so cool. I'm gonna have to move some shit around to give that a proper
Yeah.
positioning on the
Yeah,
wall,
yeah.
man. That is
Maybe a proper
so-
frame too.
Yeah,
so you can
dude.
get
No, that's
bullshit.
fucking-
I went to Michael's and I was like, I'll be good. I was like, only dude, why is 12x9 such a weird frame to find? I feel like I can never find it like easily.
No,
you know, which is weird because it's such a standard size.
You would think, bro. And like, dude, finding a square frame. You know how hard it is to find a square frame.
Yeah.
I didn't go to Michael's to look for it though, to be honest with you. But I
Okay.
went to like Walmart section.
I feel like
And
Walmart and Target like
they didn't have
booty cheeks.
Couldn't
bro.
find it, bro,
Like,
at all, bro. Yeah, trash for that.
Yeah, you might be able to find like some 8x8s or something.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
what I need. That's a 7x7, so I
Okay.
would need an 8x8.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect with like a black matting
Or
or
like
whatever.
12x10 is surprisingly common.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, why, dude?
Who makes
on.
that? Like,
Yeah, 100%. Like,
such a strange dude. That is so cool.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
so
brother.
excited, bro. That is so cool.
choosing where to put your value of marker tone in
Okay.
terms of like the thing in front, right? So homie holding the heart. You're gonna go 0 to 10 with the darkness on that bitch. Next layer back, go 2 to 8, and then the final thing is like 4 to 6. So
Yeah.
like that, keeping that idea in mind was something I really enjoyed. I was like, oh, that's an interesting way to like not use open skin or open paper to like determine the focal point.
Value is like the biggest thing in art.
I agree.
I mean, especially tattoo art. It's all contrast. That's all it is, you know? Like,
It's very interesting to see the difference of teachings you receive. Of course, like you're way more excited. I'm way more excited to learn about art now than I might have been in junior year of high school. But like, just the difference of knowledge you receive in terms of like, I'm not gonna go and shit on my high school art teachers,
Right.
But they weren't no Da Vinci's.
No.
Like it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
Not
you're right.
DiCaprio right now. But like they would just kind of show you this and give you an assignment and have you do it, and it was kind of like on you to figure out how to do it, and like there wasn't much critiquing done. I feel like
Yep.
where the amount of times I would get a drawing I call them nuggets, where like Beto would sit down and correct something for me, or Jimmy would, or even Ram and Saucy, Noe, they have all given me little pieces where they just say one thing or make one change and like change this because of this.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that makes so much sense. Like how I said earlier of him, make a stencil. Oh, make a stencil? Yeah. And then just color it in? Yeah. That's how you do realism, or how you can do realism? Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Or, like, I mean, the other day, Beto was just telling me about, like, don't necessarily always try to make a smooth shade when you're tattooing. He's like, sometimes that hard shape separation is what is pleasing to the eye. And I was like, oh, okay. Or the grayscale of knowing where to put that value of marker and tone, not leaving open skin. Open skin is something I want to get more and more into. Like, I think it's very important, and I think I didn't think about it as much, and now it's like, oh, well, if it's all open, it's going to look unfinished. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. That's actually good. Let that tattoo breathe,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to do, I haven't messed with gray washes at all. Like,
No.
I haven't used a wash system once. Like,
You just use black?
just straight black.
And pressure?
In pressure.
Nice.
And that's how Sauce does it. And
It's like a pencil then.
that's my thought. Like, and I've had other artists tell me, like, dude, if you can do it that way, you'll be good. And I was like, yeah, why not? Like, I can understand a wash system and people that use it, like, right on, dude. If it works for you, fucking sick.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, to me, it just makes sense. Why not try to master just black? Because
Easier setup.
like, so easy.
Yeah. Done.
Then, yeah, and honestly, part of me thinks, like, you just gotta do your due diligence. But I feel like I could easily fuck up my wash system when I accidentally dip into black. And I'm like, oh wait, I actually need to do this lighter, and then I dip into, and now that's darker. The rest of this, so it's like, it confuses me just because I don't know about it as much.
Sure.
But just black's been working for me.
Yeah.
So like, okay, let's see if I can't keep getting better with it.
One thing that I learned from Bob Tyrell, I don't know.
Yeah.
Fucking dog, right? He says so if you have coming from straight black, every time you dip in the water cup, a little tap, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a 10% reduction in color value.
Oh.
Granted, give or take, it might be like
Sure.
8, you know what I'm saying? But like
Right.
About 10% drop
good
each time
rule
is a
of thumb
good rule of
or-
thumb. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if
That's
you're
good
ever
to
like,
know.
man, this is a little too dark, or I'm having trouble getting the right value, you might drop it in the rinse cup real quick, and it might help you out.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
Yep.
that. Like, I've seen artists, when they do use like a gray wash and they pack it in there, and it always looks way dark, but then it heals beautifully.
It looks dark
and that's so scary to me. Like, I just, like, I don't like that. If I can't see my results on the skin of a basic idea of how it's going to heal or what I think it's going to look like, I could not imagine packing something and it looks way too dark. I'd be stressed the fuck out.
Dude,
Like,
it was like a whole month. I did one on my, like a friend of mine. I was like, oh, obviously like free, whatever. Like
Yeah.
I'm practicing. And so he like left and I was like, dude, oh my God, I fucking ruined that. Like, I'm like, this thing is beat, bro. Like, do you see how dark it was? And they're like, it looks perfect. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
yeah.
What? Like, so yeah, that one was always weird to me. Then it would just be like continually like pulling, like using your rinse cup as like almost up to your highlight point. Like you whip out your rinse cup into your highlight. You know what I mean? So I never understood it, and then the whole thing is just beat red, and I'm just like,
damn straight.
sorry, but then I've seen it go. They come back,
They
and I'm
heal,
like,
and you're like, oh.
like just trust me, it's gonna look fine in a couple days.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think there's anything I've done yet that I'm like, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm also like pretty in the mentality of like, if I can do it, let's run it. Like, you pick it, I stick it.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's a little banger. I think at a certain point, like, it'd be cool to just work on maybe larger scale stuff and or like more imagery like based things, like more just fun things to tattoo.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
At the moment, I'm just grateful to tattoo.
Yeah.
So like, it's anything and everything's exciting and fun for me and a new opportunity to learn. Honestly, I do have that mentality of like, if the person comes in and wants this, even if I think it's a horrible idea, but they really want it, who am I to judge? Like, I'll break it down for you. If someone wants red lettering on the inside of their finger, I'll explain why that's a very bad idea and it probably won't heal well. Like, but if you want it, let's run it.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Who am I to deny, You know, unless you come in rocking backwards Buddha symbol. I'm like, yeah, no, get out of here,
Good
dude.
point. All right.
Anything gang related, fuck off, racist, no thanks.
Yeah.
Like, but if people want, I'm all for stupid tattoos. Like, I'm all about it, bro. Like, one of the crown jewels at our shop, I didn't get to do it, but no, he did it. This guy lost a bet, and he had to come in and get dumpster written on him. Crazy. And back tramp stamp vibe. He did it in like nice trad lettering. Like, it just clean as hell. Great tattoo.
Unreal.
Snake Pit posted it. Like,
Really?
It was, yeah. It was fucking gnarly. So like shit like that, I feel like there's people out there like, what the fuck? I would never want to do that. I was like, dude, that's amazing. Like, oh, I love that. You know, I'll never forget like my first year at New Hope. This guy came in and he wanted, he had a little mole right here on his arm, and he wanted it to look. He wanted a stick figure looking like it was throwing a football, and I was like, that's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some people say that's dumb, that's permanent, whatever. Nah, like fun.
It's hilarious.
Like, you seem like a fun person.
Yeah, you're permanently marked as a cool dude now.
Yeah,
like, awesome.
Hell yeah.
Like,
I would say the only regret I would have with any tattoos is if like any that I've done now, I know in 5 years I'd be able to do it better. Right?
Sure,
So like
yeah.
that's the only thing. But you're not gonna get better by not, doing that. So like there's some big pieces out there where I'm like, oh man, like I wish I would have. And who knows? Like I can come back and touch it up when time comes, probably. But it's just like I have that feeling here and there when it's like, damn, like and you try not to let it get to you, but it's like, man, like I could have given you a way better piece if you waited. But it's like they trust you now.
Yeah.
So like,
right.
do your best to give them the best damn thing you can now.
Rotary. Yeah.
Rotary. I started on coils with fake skin, and then it just switched. Like I thought Bethel wasn't gonna be happy if I tried rotaries, but I had tried one day, and I just showed him like, look, and he's just like, I've been telling you to use rotaries. And I was like, oh,
Really?
okay.
Oh
Like,
my god.
let's run it then. And from that day, I haven't looked back. I respect the coil users. I don't diss on them. I think it's sick. Like, that's the origins of tattooing, and that's cool. But respectfully, like, I'm a tattooer in 2025, and a young one at that. Like, I like the idea of just seeing what's out there and what's the most new, best technology that I can use. And for me, at least in my experience, rotaries have given me a better time. And just the operation of it all, of, like, switching needle groupings on the fly, that alone is the best part for me. Like, and the fact that it's those pen style machines, it's, you know, I like holding the in my hand.
Yeah, me too. It reminds me of being before bed, you know what I mean?
Dude, absolutely. It's just, I feel at home.
Yeah, right.
Cyber sigalism, not a fan. I mean, you know, anorexic tribal is what I like to, I feel it as.
Ozempic tribal.
Ozempic tribal. Yeah. I mean, I think it can be done cool. I've seen some cool pieces, and like, again, maybe it's just not my style. At the end of the day, I try to very much maintain that of like, if you like it, but if you're asking me, not a fan of that at all. I think it's something that takes up space and when could we have something cooler. But hey, if it's your vibe, it's your vibe.
Yeah.
I think this whole ignorant style too, I'm not a fan of. Like, tattoos for the sake of being like, not really something I feel like we should be pushing. But again, like, that also, I'll admit, like, if someone comes in and wants a tattoo and wants it to look shit, and I try to talk them out of it, like, no, like, that's the point. I want it to look like trash. Okay, like, all right, like, kind of makes my job a little easier, to be honest with you. And then, like, that, I had this girl one time, and this isn't exactly an example, but she comes in and all her tattoos are a little off like this, and she wanted, like, she had this little light bulb line drawing, and she just, like, wanted it crooked and I was like, I had fun with it because it was just free flowing the lines. Like, I wasn't paying too much attention to how straight they were and whatever, and she absolutely loved it. But it also wasn't, like, they didn't look like a shitty tattoo. It just looked like that was how it was supposed to look. So that was cool. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I saw something where it's like, this generation isn't getting, like, big work as much anymore. They all want the little dink, 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 dink. And I think patchwork can be cool. Like, I think it's super fun when you just build up a sleeve. There's times when I wish I did a patchwork sleeve. Like, to have those, like, dude, I got this here and this here, and you can show people easily. That's more my legs. So that's cool. But when it's a bunch of little stuff, and then if you want to tie that into a sleeve, that's difficult to figure out, as well as I think big work is always going to be more complementary to body, and it's always going to age better typically. It's like there's a lot of benefits to getting big work. It's expensive, so but like save for it. It'll be worth it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's a good thing that most people don't actually say out loud. So how do you manage dealing with all the hats that you have to wear as a tattooer in today's day and age?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's I've never been a top accessory guy, but you know, all the people at New Hope are more or less. So I was like, I don't want to be like that, man. And it is nice, like it's especially now having the longer hair, like keeping the hair out of the face, and you know, not really wanting to tie it up. It's great.
Oh, dude, I meant like.
What'd you say? Wait, you said hats?
Yeah. So like you have to be a marketing. You have to market yourself. You have to.
I thought that was a joke. In that case, it can be difficult because you just realize you're kind of a one-man band in a sense, and that's also kind of part of fun, to be honest. But it's something that you need to pick and choose your battles on a little bit. Like, I'm definitely not no social media influencer, and that's kind of the vibe these days, being a tattooer, which sucks. Like, I don't want that to be the case, but I get it. And so, like, when I post, I may write a stupid caption, or I may do something silly in the reel, like, and that's not necessarily indicative of who I am, but I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
Like, that's what needs to be done. And so I'd be lying if I didn't have fun sometimes doing it too, you know, putting the videos together and doing the transitions, and it's edited cool and it's fun, or it's a fun transition. Or if I put myself in the videos like, hey, look at me, and then I did this, like that can be enjoyable, but it's just one more thing. Like, I'm already drawing the design, I'm tattooing the design, I'm trying to make, like, it'd be fun to just go back to just word of mouth or artists, and they just accept that's how you find tattooers. But at the same time, that has opened such a wide array of business to artists. So it's like, I get it. It's almost becoming like a necessary evil in the industry.
Yeah.
But you do your best to just balance. And there's times, I saw this artist say this the other day, where it's like, dude, f it sometimes. Like, don't always have to be grind mode 24/7. Like, if you're going to take a day or even like, all right, I'm going to grind for 3 months straight. I'm talking drawing every day, no breaks, always making flash. And then the next 3 months, you're just going to chill and do your appointments and whatever. I see no problem with that. I think that's a great way to avoid burnout, because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I view it.
Hell yeah.
Enjoy it. Enjoy this life. It's a video game. Play it how you want. And try your best not to take life too seriously. I think that's helped me immensely. I think I've become way less of an overthinker since I became in this industry.
Really?
And that's something I suffered with like a long time.
Yeah.
And now it's very much like, whatever, dude. Like, it's just whatever, run it. Like, we're out here. You know, I think my overthinking helps at a certain point, but I'm more at peace with it now. Nice. And I'm just more in the moment with life. And I think that's a big thing I've taken away. I'm just enjoying the moment. Don't stress out about the big piece you have in a month. Focus about what you have this week. And if that week includes starting that design, cool. But like, don't allow yourself to be burdened by the future. Enjoy the present, you know. That's kind of my biggest thing.
Perfect.
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram at Gravemind Tattoos. Come on over to New Hope Tattoo. If it's not me, we got a bunch of great artists over there, man. Shout out my mentors, Jimmy and Beto. They've taught me so much. And honestly, every artist that I interact with always gives me a little something, man. It's beautiful to be able to just socialize with artists and talk about them with different perspectives. Whether that's about composing or stretching the skin in a certain way. Like, there's just all these little things that we get to talk about, and no one's going to get it more than the people that do it. So it's just so fun to be around them. But yeah, thank you so much. Shout out to Matt Bugo over here getting that started, man. This has been a pleasure, absolute privilege to come over and do this for you.
Hell yeah.
It was a great time, dude.
Dude, it was super fun for me, man. Thank you for your time, bro.
Absolutely, brother.
Awesome, bro.
Yeah!